Hello, footies, and welcome along to this Tuesday. We'll call it Tuesday Twosome instead of a Tuesday Club. My name's Nathan. I shall be here for the next 45 minutes to an hour, potentially. We've got quite a lot to get through. As we all know, this is now the lead-in for Team of the Year. So I'm really happy to say I'm joined, as always, by the man of the moment, Shaq. Shaq, how are you doing?
I'm doing fabulous. Thank you very much, Nate, and thank you for the introduction. A very kind and gracious introduction. Really looking forward to kicking the ball around with you today.
Perfect. How's your week in foot been? We'll start with that. Like, how's it been? Have you been busy? Have you done everything? Have you done nothing? Like, what's been going on?
For the first time in history, it feels like I've completed every single objective there is to complete in EAFC, and I just had a look earlier. I think I've got 35 objectives yet to redeem. So it's just a weird feeling to have that many objectives yet to redeem, and I'm just going to redeem them all on the Friday after 6 p.m. content time just to try and get everything together. But my weekend foot, honestly, I've had a horrible weekend playing champs. Didn't really enjoy it. I stopped at 6 wins. I just couldn't. Honestly, the way I was playing, the opponents I was facing, I probably would have ended up at maybe 7 wins at the most. And I thought, why am I putting myself through this? And I just stopped at six. Rivals was okay. I've made the mistake of promoting myself, which is it's. I think my problem is I'm in a group chat with you and Dan, and the way you guys talk about the higher divisions, it almost seems like it's a breeze for you guys. And I think, oh, I'm okay. I'm fairly all right. I'll be okay. Nah, it's horrible. Div 3 onwards is horrible. It's just the sweats after sweats. So yeah, that's been my week in EAFC. How about yours?
Yeah, I didn't do champs as always. I kind of forgot yesterday because we had the Flash Rush event, which I thought I'd do well for some extra stored packs. So I focused on that. Much like yourself, I've not quite got 35 because I've been redeeming as we go along, but I think I've got seven of like the sort of higher rated player picks in my sort of season ladder, which I'll be probably opening on Friday as well. I'm not going to open everything on Friday, but we'll get into that. Managed to get into Div 2 very early in the sort of rivals run, and somehow I've managed to stay sort of mid table. I had a lull, but then I took out my evoed Rashford and actually brought on a true striker, which I was debating. And what a difference just having somebody that's an actual striker. Had to change it to a poacher, but it's mental how I love Rashford, even though he's probably leaving United in this transfer window. But I kind of wanted him to do really well. But I have to say, having an actual striker in there, like I think it's Gerd Muller, the icon I got from that icon pack, and actually I'm happy with him. So it's been fun. It's fun midway through Div 2. Got nothing left to do just now, so I'm kind of going back to the moments sort of objectives because I hadn't done the world class and legendary ones. So I'm doing that just now, just to get I think it's a jumbo rare player at the end of it. So I'm uh, I'm I'm feeling my way through that, shall we say? But the first thing I think, Shaq, you kind of highlighted what you wanted to speak about first of all, and it's this sort of this pre-Team of the Year promo. It's probably the last one before Team of the Year. We're in Team 2 of NumeroFUT. What's your current sort of feeling about NumeroFUT? Do you think it's been better than we thought? Do you think it's kind of just a stopgap filler? Like, how do you see it?
I think NumeroFUT is probably a little bit of an underrated promo. I think in a way because I think everyone's really overlooking some of these cards and expecting them to be pretty bad as opposed to them actually looking at these cards. Some of these cards are actually really good. I think I changed my stance a little bit after last week because I'm starting to look at these cards and I've used a couple of cards that I've actually packed and they are actually good fun cards, even though they're one play style plus. They're still really good cards. And I think some of the cards that are being released that were released yesterday or the day before, they would probably be slightly undervalued because they're not going to be supplied as much. So certainly, if people are interested in some of the cards that are in packs right now, as of today, that leave packs at 6 p.m. today, whenever you're listening. So that's 6 p.m. on the Tuesday. Some of the cards are really worth. I think they're worth trying and keeping in your club because I see them going up.
Yeah, I mean, I've just done a quick draft game, and I had Kyle Walker at right back from NumeroFUT, and
Oof.
oh my word, what a card! Like he is, yeah, I think he's 1.5 mil just now, but he is wild, like very good. And although, like you say, one play style plus, I don't really see Team of the Year's drop weight being enough to make these cards, unusable anytime soon. In all honesty, like we know once Team of the Year's out, the power curve goes up a little bit, but some of these cards, you're right, but the funny thing that I've seen, we usually go through most promos going, we need a goalie, we need a goalie. But when you look
Yeah.
at this promo, we've got Allison, you've got Endler, there's Trapp, and there's Pickford. I don't think I can remember a promo, or even I know it's two teams. I don't remember having four different goalkeepers, and it's also quite weird to have two from the Premier League, like Pickford and Allison, at the same time.
Oh, I think unfortunately the cynic in me, and it's probably the realist in me as well, is knows exactly why we have five goalkeepers, and that's simply because if you play a couple of matches after 6 p.m. on this Friday, you're entitled to I think 89 plus winter wildcard or NumeroFUT pack, and I think majority of us are going to back at least three of those five goalkeepers. So that's probably what the plan is, and I think I thought it was too good to be true, and well, five goalkeepers coming through makes you realize that all those packs are going to be filled with that. But having said that, though, I think the addition of Allison and Pickford is probably very handy to have. I think I can't remember which keeper. There's actually a keeper that's got a long ball pass in this NumeroFUT as well. That's an interesting addition as well. I think we have Edison who's got the long ball plus.
Pickford it is.
Oh, Pickford's got the long ball plus. Yeah,
Pickford's got
he's.
Uncle.
Have you used Edison at all with the long ball pass?
No, I packed that. I think it was Rush potentially the Thibaut Courtois. So he's been in basically since I've got him.
Okay, yeah, same. I'm using Courtois as well. I haven't changed, but I'm really curious to see how the long ball pass from a goalkeeper works. I don't think I've used Edison extensively, but it's an interesting play style for a goalkeeper. Apart from that, I think the overall promo seems to be pretty okay so far.
Yeah, it's the usual though. The top cards are still silly prices, and the ones that you get. I think we had a guaranteed one for. Can't remember what objective SBC it was, and naturally I got Luca Bacchio, who's about 11k. He's like discard,
Yes.
so it's the usual. So I mean, the drop weights we've seen are quite low. Not that people are opening tons of packs, but does this kind of make you think that actually the drop weight from Team of the Year is now going to sort of carry on this course, or do you think we'll get a pleasant surprise?
Oh, look, I would be extremely shocked, not even surprised. I would be shocked if Team of the Year pack weight is anything better than what it always is. I think, I mean, it really depends on the first couple of days. I think we might see a bit more drop weight initially, but I think as everyone goes into packs, I don't think you're going to see the same drop weights. I think, let's just put it this way: out of all the hosts that we have in Foot and Review, I have a feeling that we might walk away with maybe 50% at best. That might end up with a Team of the Year, and we're all going to be heavy grinders, and we'll still end up with only 50% of us ending up with at least one Team of the Year.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing for sure. We've got lots of gameplay grinders, and we've also got the other hand, you've got the menu grinders like yourself and Dan. So we do have quite a lot of kind of sample size to try and play with. And obviously, in our wonderful Discord, we've got the dedicated Pack Pulls channel. So, I'd love nothing more than on Monday to log in and see everyone's got a top attacker. And then, obviously, the following week when everything's in packs, it'd be nice to see that popping off. But I'm not sure because when you compare it with the previous years, right through the cycle, the Pack Pull channel, it sounds daft, but we're all celebrating an 86 promo because promos are so rare, really. But no, it sets us up nicely. Like you say, it's a clever shout to think about some of these sort of better players because, like we said, Team of the Year drop weight's not going to be high. People will be going fully liquid just now to see what they can pick up in Team of the Year and to try and get packs. But once that initial kind of hit happens, you'll be thinking, right, how am I realistically going to improve my team without either blowing all my coins or having to do too much? So some of these, I'm not saying get the ones that are stupid prices, but there's some very sort of low top tier cards that are still going to be very meta and very, very good. The next thing that we've kind of, we've almost been steered into playing a little bit more Rush. So just before we get into that, I mean, I said, I think, sort of maybe the end of the first month or two, the live friendly mode seems to have disappeared again. We've only had 3 or 4 rounds of that. We do seem to be getting steered into Rush, and I know a lot of people either love or hate Rush. It's a bit like Marmite, isn't it? Like you love it, you hate it. I've always thought it's got a lot of potential, but they need to execute it slightly differently. So, fair play to EA. They have kind of brought in objectives that you kind of need to play X and score X and such like. So, I mean, I don't know what your experience is, Shaq, but I'm definitely seeing a lot less away from keyboard type players. but you're also seeing some of these guys that have no idea how to play in that sort of small-sided mode, either in it all for themselves or just even positionally. And I know people go in there to unwind, but sometimes it just you're banging your head against the wall. So, wanted to get your thoughts on how EA have kind of developed this rush side of things as we've gone through the cycle, and where the current stage is.
It's a strange one because it's much better than what it was. I think the initial Rush hype was amazing. Everyone loved it, and then people started to think, look at all these AFK players, and started to get a little bit weird. And then they've kind of tweaked it just enough to actually interest us to go back in. So don't get me wrong, when I actually play with three other people that know what they're doing, that are working together as a team, it's a really fun mode. I'm just talking about randoms, three randoms that know what they're doing, that actually pick the right objectives, right cards to meet the requirements, and that are in the game, that are there to pass it to each other, that are not trying to dribble past everyone. It's a fun game. When you play as a team, it's a fun game. And sometimes you end up winning 8-9-0, and it's so much fun just passing the ball around, doing some tricks, just passing the ball to each other, finding the through passes. It's great fun. And then you come up against some people, for some reason. Shout out to Kevin from the Nothing But a Foot podcast. I just saw him tweet about Bellingham. He said anyone using Bellingham, that the special Bellingham card, anyone using that Bellingham card in the rush mode, you're going to be in for a rough ride. And that is so true. I have no idea why a lot of people pick him, and all they keep trying is to spam those through passes that never go anywhere. He's got 82 shooting, which doesn't achieve anything. And yeah, anyway, overall, I think some games are really bad, some games are really good fun. And I think if you have a squad up together, it's great. It's a really good fun mode. You can just jump in and play together and enjoy. But I think some of the things that are really annoying me is, for example, this week's requirements was from EA. You needed to play with a player with over 85 shooting. You got to win a game using a player with 85 plus shooting. It's harder than you think because there's no one defending. And I, in my squad of randoms, I like to be the one that is defending, and it's really hard to find a player that's got 85 plus shooting and also can defend.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, that was one thing I was wanting to sort of highlight. I quite enjoy these different objectives in a way, like the criteria for it. I think it's good that it makes you use different players, but it does really annoy me because the thing that I've seen a lot is you're getting people that are either following the objective criteria, or to be fair to them, they're using the evos. And I'm not 100% against people evoing because it's a fun way to evo.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
like originally I got really annoyed that it didn't hit any of the green boxes, but actually I'm like, no, fair play to them. At least they're trying. But it's the ones that pick random players that have no evo and they've got absolutely nothing to do with the bonus points. So you could be one box off doing it, and you're sitting just saying like, go and use somebody with flair or somebody with that tricks. And everyone's got a player like that in the club, and I know everybody wants to win the game, but it's not all about winning it. You get more for completing all the objectives than you do for winning the
correct.
game. So like I get so frustrated, and usually it's these ones that don't have anything to do with it that actually are either the worst players or the most selfish players. And I joked about ages ago that I just say nice and thanks all the time. That those sort of D-pad buttons are now completely worn out because it's all I do because people are just so frustrating. And I want people to go and have a great time and use players that they want. Like I totally get that, but everyone's got a deep club now. I'm sure everyone's kept some of these specials for big SBCs and whatnot. But I just don't understand why people go in there going, I'm not going to help anybody get extra points. I'm not going to really help my team win. I'm just going to be out this for myself. So it's a little bit of, we talk about the community and a lot of the community is great, but you always get these type of people, it's the ones that pause and then message you to quit if they go 1-0 up. It's those type of people that I bet that are doing this. So that is 100% my pet peeve. But we'll go back to. I would like to see these friendlies come back as well because I really enjoyed these friendlies. Even the One Nation ones where my team's crap.
Yeah.
Like when they had them out, the rewards were really good. You could use some of these players that you stored. Like I'm a dragon, not just with my coins but my players. I try and only put gold players into SBCs if I can. So if we've got some of these freebies, then I am keeping them. So it's quite cool to be able to use them in an actual team setting. And I like to change the formations. And Adam gave us the 4-2-1-3 before it kind of became a big thing, and it was really good fun trying it in the friendly mode. So EA have done a lot, but I would love to see them focus a little bit more on that. If I'm being brutally honest.
Yeah, I really don't know how they can make it better because it's almost like we're expecting EA to fix stupid, and it's really hard for them. They've done everything that they can. They're giving us the objectives. They're giving us the requirements for us to choose the right players. I think maybe if we go to the requirement screen and you see that your whole team's not really looking at the requirements, you pretty much know you're in for a rough ride. Unless people are using evolutions, as you said, I'm no problem with that. But yeah, I think I don't know what else we can expect EA to do in this point. I think the reduction of 1 minute from the games as well has also made a big difference. It's not 1 or 2 minutes. It doesn't feel as long, even though you're stuck. By the time you're frustrated, you only have like a minute and a half, 2 minutes left of the game, so you just might as well stay and get the rewards for it. But overall, I think it can be more enjoyable, but I think that's down to the community more than EA right now. EA has done their bit, I feel.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the only thing that it could probably do would take probably a lot of programming would be to have individual people have their own points taken off almost. So if you're one of these guys that isn't using an Evo, isn't using objective, you just get 0 points. Be like, haha. But that's probably me coming across really badly, and I don't think that's going to happen. And to be fair, there is sometimes you get a player like I totally get it. If you've got a player and you're just dying to try them out, then maybe you want to, but. Not that Bellingham. Just no. Just he should just be. But it should be like an exception XXX player except Bellingham. So,
Yeah.
although Bellingham in real life, if you turn up for England and win as the next World Cup, then anybody can have that Bellingham and use him until the cows come home. But I
Yeah.
think. I think they have done a good job. I think that actually there's, like you say, there's a lot to do. We've both said that we've maxed out kind of the objectives just now, but there is a lot to do, and it's only because we kind of dedicate quite a lot of time to it. But if you're only getting an hour a night or something, there's so much to be doing right now, so many good rewards to be getting and stashing away for the next week or two as well.
Definitely, definitely. There's a whole heap of stuff that you can do on the game right now, and it's good. It's also good because I think we're all holding on to our bags, just hoping for some disappointment on Friday, and it's fine. And I think we have another 2 weeks of just trying to pack, and you just having that feeling of every single pack might be the one, and waiting for 2 weeks and realizing none of those packs were the one. So
Absolutely.
it,
It doesn't matter
it,
what high rated packs you've got. You just know that there's going to be no flare. And I don't know whether you've picked up, but they've changed the animation sequence as well. So it's even more disappointing because it's now the lowest rated player that comes through the tunnel. It's not the highest rated one like it used to be. I think that
oh,
came out last week, and it's the most frustrating thing.
But I think that's a good thing, no? It's for the double walkout. So, for example, if you've packed an 86 and an 89, the 86 comes out, and we see everything about the 86 and the 80, 87, whatever the higher rating. So, I think I saw another pack that was being opened where someone packed like a 91 rated card or something. So, obviously, the other card that was in the double walkout had to be better than the 91, and it turned out to be, I think it was R9, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember. It was a weird pack. I can't remember what it was, but yeah, it was pretty good. It was pretty
Yeah,
good.
it's that endorphin hit though of when you open that pack and the flares go off. I don't know whether they're going to bring back even if it's a lower rated one, but you still get the blue flares for Team of the Year or something because when you open it and you get those flares, like it hits
Oh yeah.
differently. So otherwise, if you get my look is that 87 Beth Mead or 88 Beth Mead, whatever she is now, she comes out in most packs. So like although I'd love to see a Team of the Year in there, I'd hate it to be ruined by just a standard gold walkout. And oh wait, what's this? It's almost like it'll be a nice shock, but at the same time, like the tunnel walkout with a Team of the Year is just that hits differently to anything through any promo, in my opinion.
I agree. I agree. I'm looking just forward to the. I think it's good what they've done is they've just made us addicted to even just look at the animation. More than actually backing their team of the year on day one. I just want to see the animation from one of the YouTube videos somewhere or X feed, just to see what the animation looks like. And yeah, it is. Look, we know they spend the most amount of time doing these sorts of things rather than doing anything else, and it's working.
Oh, absolutely. But what you really mean to say is you want to see it from one of us, one of
Oh,
our
I
own
would love
feeds.
to.
That's it. Shaq, before we go and talk about Team of the Year in depth, I know we did a bit on it last week, but some things have kind of changed and moved on. Just wanted to talk slightly about the Pro Live, the FC Pro Live event that was on last night. For those that watched it, it was the final one of this season where we could get some decent packs as well, and I think it was Alone Carvalho this time. Was there anything that you picked up in that in terms of advising maybe of players and formations that the listeners can kind of take away from?
I think one of the things that was quite interesting was the fact that there was quite a lot of squad variety, and I think there was a lot of cards that you wouldn't really expect there to be in a pro tournament. But I think there was also a requirement for them to have two winter wild cards in their squad, so that kind of skews things up a little bit. But I think overall it was. I didn't. I how do I put it? I saw the whole 1 hour that I'm expected to see, but I don't think I consumed the whole 1 hour, if you know what I mean. So I haven't. I should have seen a little bit more, but I just didn't. It starts at 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. my time, so I don't really
Yeah.
get to watch the whole of it. But I saw little bits and glimpses of it, and I think one of the things that I picked up was there was a lot of hype about Andres Vergang, who actually used the 4-2-1-3. Surprise, surprise. That's the most underrated formation of all time. No, it's not. It's the worst formation of all time, where you have the whole midfield stuck. And yeah, he used it pretty effectively. I think what I liked from the variety of the formations was the fact that there was a whole variety. Everyone had a different style of doing a different thing. It wasn't really everyone just going to 4-2-1-3. People had different combinations of roles that they were using for their wide players, and that was quite interesting. And I think I was doing a little bit of listening as well and understanding. And I think some of the way that these roles combine within the formation itself is something that we can tinker a lot more. And I don't think I'm there yet, but I think some of the elite people are finally starting to realize that you don't necessarily have to have the most meta inside forward on your left mid, right mid. You can have a wide midfielder or a winger to do something different, and trying to read what the opponent is doing and change your roles based on what your team is doing as opposed to what you want to do. It is interesting. It's a lot of shifting around, a lot of things that you can actually play with, and it seems to be working. I think it's something that I want to adapt and get better at, but I think it's really hard. I think I'm at a stage where I'm struggling with the most apt tactics that I think that were working for me like a week ago. I can't do anything in the division I'm in right now. So I'm just not really sure what I should be changing because everything seems alien to me.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. I mean, I did the Worcester SBC that came out being a Brentford boy, and I've got him playing left mid in a 4-2-3-1 wide, but I've changed him to wide playmaker, so he's on his plus plus. He's not as dangerous attacking, but he's a great card. But it's quite fun to play with. Changed my advanced forward to a poacher. That definitely makes a difference because you've got a lot more threat, especially in that one sort of striker formation. But it's interesting to see. And the one thing I say every time we watch this is just how calm they are, and how many times they actually sprint is minimal. They recycle the ball a lot more, and even like the off ball triggers where they either call players closer or send them longer again. Like that's immense at that level, and it's something that we could all probably watch and do a lot more of to create these chances. Because even with the 4-2-1-3, like you said, you get stuck in the middle a little bit, or it's waiting for that wide through ball. So it's quite interesting to see how these teams adapt. And I think it's something that we said, we always say about, persevering with your formation and learning it. And I think these guys have obviously have a lot of game time, and they know their player runs, and probably they trained with these players a lot, so you know what these players are capable of, what their movement's going to be. And I always get told for tinkering too much, so I've tried not to. And you totally know how to play to your team's strengths, and that's what I like. And it's changed my mind in travel IQ, FC IQ, because I think it's amazing. If they can develop that further, I think it's actually been really good for the game. Considering we were all a little bit confused and perplexed about it to start, I think it's been probably one of the better points of FC 25.
I completely agree. I think we shortchanged it. I mean, I personally shortchanged it. I still do shortchange it because I don't think I have. I probably should. I don't think I have the sandpit to actually try these sorts of things because champs is not a place that you can really experiment. Neither is rivals, and neither is friendlies, if you know what I mean. So there's no real actual place where you can tinker with like-minded opposition and see what works for you. And squad battles certainly is not. So I think that's where I'm struggling. I really want to try things out. I don't really know where I should be trying things out. Sure, you can say try it in rivals, but it just makes you want to pull your hair out sometimes that you're trying against someone that's just elasticoing his way against you and just scoring his way to glory. It's really hard.
Yeah, I mean that's probably the downside to bringing in relegation, especially in the top sort of top areas. because I probably would have been a lot more experimental had you get into Division 2 and you're going to stay there for the rest of that
Yeah.
season. Whereas I think now the lines are so fine, and I don't know whether it's a mental thing. It probably is, but when I go on a losing run, it takes quite a lot to come out of it. So once you're winning, you seem to work your way up quite quickly. But if you can't grab that win, for even the first win of the day, then it takes a wee while to dig yourself out of that rut, and you don't want to be changing things around left, right, and centre.
Yeah, I think I have to mention this. I think I will give a shout out to Dan. I think Dan's pretty consistent with his formation usage, and he uses the same formation pretty much the whole time, and his results are extremely consistent. He's consistently at whatever wins he gets in weekend league seems to be. He gets there pretty easily. No, he does have his own issues here and there, but he gets to where he has to go to. Whereas I'm starting to get bored of using the same formation. I keep experimenting, I keep tinkering, and that I'm never. As soon as I lose a little bit of confidence, it's really hard for me to build that confidence up again. So yeah, I really need to find a way to actually tinker effectively. Maybe don't tinker from Friday onwards. Just whatever I have on Friday is the formation I use all the way till Monday.
Yeah. I think we're just going to start calling you Claudio Ranieri again, though. So just call you the
Yeah,
Tinkerman. That's it, your new nickname.
that's
but
right. Yeah.
moving on, Shaq. I mean, I think most people listening to this will start, to be getting excited, and that hype train, as we say, is starting to leave the station. Team of the year is very, very close. We've still not actually had any information about the players that have won the votes. Before we get into that, though, in this podcast, we kind of try to avoid leaks. But I think this is, with the build up to such a major promo, I think this is the exception. I think we should probably talk about it. So, the first one that isn't a leak, we had Garincha. I think Garincha came on Saturday, I
No,
think.
Jarzinho.
Oh, Jarzinho, sorry. I'm thinking of Garincha because he just told me a new one in my last game. Jarzinho came, was it 2 years ago? He was unreal, and I'm sure he's unreal now. But the thing that kind of that this was leaked for a few days. He came out a ridiculous number of squads. I think his value was about 1.5, 1.6 mil for the card. I think the SBC came in at 2 mil, I believe, which went up as well because I think Fodder kind of picked up a little bit over the weekend too. So, first things first, what do you think about them releasing, Jorginho, that card at this point? What do you think about the pricing strategy for it too?
I think it's as the SBC. I think it's extremely overpriced. I mean, as someone that's used Jarzinho extensively, I don't think he's worth that much on from that much of a grind on an SBC perspective. He's good in game, he's fun in game, but I don't think he's the one card that's going to give you that extra win or that's going to give you that extra. Because, for example, his skills are great, but his skills are not like the Neymar skills as well. His finishing is fabulous, but if you use him wide, he doesn't really get into too many positions to actually score from. He's kind of strong, but not really very strong. So it's not overall. I think you're understanding the theme. 2.1 million coins to spunk on an SBC that's not going to elevate your game too much is yeah, I think unless you have like fodder coming out of your ears, it's an SBC that you can probably skip at this point in time. I mean, try if you have the coin, just go try the tradable version and see if you like him. But I think it's slightly overpriced. It's not. It's extremely overpriced in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, at the moment it's just under 2,450,000. Sorry, 2,050,000. It's 24 squads as well. I mean, there is that 5 match loan in there which you could do as well if you didn't want to or couldn't
Yeah,
afford to buy the card off the market. But I'm with you. I think it's very high. We could see that his price is kind of hovered around just over 1.5 mil anyway. So I thought they'll bump it a little bit to maybe 1.75 maybe because they do like to kind of have the untradable versions that little bit higher. But I thought half a mil over was excessive. But that kind of leads on to, so for those of you that aren't aware or don't want to know, you probably be best sort of bleeping out the next 5 minutes or so. But we have had leaks, which are the credible sources, that we are going to be getting a Patrick Vieira SBC and a Yap Stam SBC as well. And was it the 93 R10 Ronaldinho? So three huge cards coming as SBC form. Initial sort of look at this for me is what a spine to your team you could now have through till team of the season, basically. But there's a few things that make me worried. The pricing, obviously, Stam I think would probably be about 1 million. Pad EV 1.5. and then you've got R10, and who knows what they're going to do for R10 because he's so in demand that they could probably put any price and people will do it. So, what's your thoughts when you heard these leaks and then obviously following the Jorginho SBC?
I think my initial reaction was, what? I was really, really, really excited with the fact that we're getting these. But then when you start to break it down a little bit, and I think out of the three, there's only one that's, for me, is a must do. I think Stam, I think I'm dying for a really good, solid centre back that is in the top five centre backs in the game. I really think Stam is one that I would, and also having the United connection. I mean, why wouldn't you? How could you not do Stam? Like, yeah, Stam is like, yeah, he's everything. So definitely Stam's, without a doubt, that's the one card I will definitely be doing. When it comes to Ronaldinho, I would love to do a Ronaldinho. I absolutely adore Ronaldinho, but I think with Ronaldinho, it's just a lot without any actual output. I've always found every Ronaldinho card is a lot of fun to use, especially these 93 versions, even the 94 versions back in the day. Apart from the 98, 99 versions, the earlier ones, they're a lot of fun to use, but they can never hit the ball to the back of the net. I always struggle with that. So it really has to depend on how they're priced and how my fodder is looking. But Stam's gonna get done. Ronaldinho, I'm still a bit iffy on, and Vieira, I always love a Vieira. I always have a Vieira at around this time in my squad, so that's going to be really hard to pass it by. But my midfield is stacked, so I'm not really sure. But also pricing wise, this is my opinion. Stam will be priced at about 1.2 million. Vieira will be priced approximately at 1.9 to 2 million, so roughly around Jarzinho, a little bit cheaper than Jarzinho. And Ronaldinho is going to be priced at 3.5 million with maybe 36 squads or 30 plus squads. And those, I don't think I have it in me to do Ronaldinho. That's just going to take everything from me.
Yeah, I mean
What
to put
about
that into
yourself?
to put that into perspective, Stam at the moment on the market is 815k. So you think he'll be about 1.5, so double
1.2.
basically 1.2. Sorry, so
1.2.
another 400k onto that, which is excessive. Vieira is at just under 1.4. So if he came in at 1.5, I think that's probably an instant complete for me. In all honesty, I say instant. By the time I grind, it won't be fully instant. But you know what I mean? I'd make my mind up. Uh, Ronaldinho's at 2.8 mil. So, like you say, yeah, I mean, 3.5 upwards, I'd imagine, going by the current pricing. So, I'm the same as you. I think Paddy and Stam potentially are almost must dos for me. But I think Ronaldinho, he is fun, and but everyone got that free Ronaldinho. Well, I say everyone, a large number of people did. He's never caused me hundreds of issues. Like you obviously get the one guy that is incredible with his
Incredible. Yeah.
dribbling, but we say it all the time. There's all these cards that come out that people get a bit worried about. If you don't know how to use him, he's not that effective. The trickster plus playstyle is decent, but I'd much. You see, if they gave him a trickster and a finesse, I'd be worried because he'd be able to get himself into certain positions and hit that finesse, or something along those lines. Even press proven or something there, he's even more under control. But I just think that this card, if you're wanting to pay 3.5 4 million for that card, I think you need your head a little wobble unless you are, a Ronaldinho fan. If you're a Barca or PSG sort of diehard, whatever. Like I know the sentimental sort of thoughts come into it, but I think they may prove us wrong, and it's 2.8 now. Maybe they'll release them at 2.5, which I don't see. And
No,
half of me
not.
thinks that EA know that people are sacking cards packs in the club. I think they're overpricing this because it means people have got somewhere to dump the fodder. So that's my initial thought. But I think you're right. Stam's tremendous, and it means that I can get one of my City Liverpool centre backs out of my back line, which would be lovely because
Oof.
whilst they've been very effective, I do feel very wrong and very dirty. Every time I play the game, I have to go for a bleach bath after it. And Paddy's always immense. He's so hard to get around. So I'm hoping they price him slightly higher so not everybody has him, to be honest, because he's such a good player in this game. So that's the leaks of the non-team of the year players. But as we said, team of the year now. I think they're saying that the warm up starts on Friday, I believe. I'm not 100% sure if attackers are in packs, but we know with Team of the Year warm up that usually comes the SBCs where you can get, is it 584 plus attackers, midfielders, defenders, whatever, in as well. So first things first, Shaq, are you buzzed?
I am definitely. I think I'm getting a little bit. The hype is kicking in. I think I'm starting to feel like the kid just before Christmas, just waiting for Friday 6 p.m. just to open all these packs that I have and just hope to get something, but get nothing. At least I get some fodder to try and get stamina. So yeah, Friday's going to be interesting.
Are you expecting them to have the attackers out this Friday? Are you thinking that's going to be another week? Like, how do you think this is going to
Oh,
go?
you know what? I think a lot of people have been burned from last year that would really want to put their want to open their packs on this Friday itself for the attackers rather than saving it for all the team of the years in packs like we did last year. But who's to know? EA could just change it around and put defenders in packs and watch the community burn.
Yeah, I mean, there's usually going to be plenty of things to do. They'll bring out flashbacks. They'll have the honorable mentions as well as we kind of sort of glazed over last year. I've not seen anything, to say who's going to be in it. They've kept it very quiet as far as I know so far about who's actually in the team, which is, that's quite exciting as well because the like any team of the year card is going to be very good, especially at right now, you could literally put any of those cards into your team and they were going to be, a standout player, regardless of who it is. So I think that's quite exciting that they've kept the lid on it just now. We know they'll start announcing it because they usually do their own sort of their promos on it, to try and get people talking and even more hyped. So I think it's going to be exciting. I'm only going to open my player picks because I know that I'll be blocked in. We've got rewards on Thursday, so I'll not be able to open anything anyway. So I'll open those player picks and probably the ones from the season ladder, but I'm definitely going to wait until they're all in packs for a full opening.
Yeah, that's good. That's really good.
Is there? If you kind of so before we spoke about the SBCs, but this is why I wanted to bring the SBCs in slightly early before the team of the year chat because how do you think? How are you going to manage your club, and how would you recommend for other people to manage their club going in now?
I think right now it's really good to try and get as many 84s, 83s as possible to try and get every one of these SVCs that are coming through to store those packs into the club. After that's done, I think I will slowly start to get an idea of exactly what SBCs I want to complete over Team of the Year. And for me, personally, day one, I'm just going to start ripping the packs open, get towards the SBC that I want to get to complete, and start working on those SBCs ASAP. And also, as I discussed last week, one of the things that I really want to do this year is to try and buy one big card soon. Right now, I'm tracking big man Ronaldo R9, the baby version as such, and the man's not dropping anymore. And I don't have the facilities to actually buy him right now, so I'm trying to chip away at my coins to try and see what I can do. But that's roughly my plan. I think what everyone should be trying to do right now is to try and consolidate their coins together, see what card they would like to try for their teams, because all the as we discussed last week, all the top tier cards, anything 500k plus is anything even 250k plus is bound to start going up. As soon as people start realizing that there's a lot more coins on the market, people will start buying these cards up. So if you've been eyeing a particular card, it's time to start looking at that card and buy them for your team, use them over the next couple of weeks or so, because they will just keep appreciating. And I think at this point in time, just for me, everything but the kitchen sink is just going to go into all upgrade packs. Every single card I have in the club that's not in the team is going to go into some sort of SBC.
Does that mean you're staying away from the 77 plus pick that came out last night, 78 plus? Are you
I
staying away from that
did
just now, or are you using them to try and bolster your 83s, 84s?
I am doing some of them to actually bolster my 83s and 84s, but one of the things that I'm struggling with is I'm running out of non-rare golds because I've not been opening too many of the crappy packs. So I am running out of non-rare golds, but I think what I should be doing is I'll open a few of those packs that just the entry level packs that just give me basic non-rare gold. Sorry, rare golds. I'm sorry. I'm running out of rare golds, and I will try and do something to try and get some more rare golds to try and do some more picks and see. I think I preferred last week's picks as opposed to this week's. Having the fourth pick was tremendous.
Yeah.
It was game changing for me. Having three picks again, it's back to 80, 80, and 79, and that's not fun.
No, it's not. I mean, remember we've got these daily upgrades as well. So for those of you that don't do them, I'd highly recommend doing your daily bronze, silver, and gold upgrades. If you're smart about it, use your non important league ones. Because I dip in and out, but I know Dan's a massive champion for the league SBCs. I think that's going to be quite a fruitful way of bolstering your club during team of the year as well, because it gives you more packs. So you can either do more of the upgrade packs, which we know they usually bring out certain ones where it's either the attacker packs or even league specific ones as well. Um, but it also lets you do these picks as well. I think you can do up to 4 gold ones a day, so that gives you quite a few. I think it's 11, so you get 40 non-rare and 4 rare gold. So although it doesn't give you everything, obviously it gives you something to work towards, and it helps you with some of these other SBCs. So definitely worth completing them. Like you said, I've actually been opening all my ones that don't have a minimum rating, apart from from rivals. I think rivals don't give you a minimum rating on those packs when you got like the mega pack and such, but I've been keeping them because more chance. So anything that they've got, the mixed packs and all that, I've been opening. Just even the standard gold packs, I've opened last year. I saved everything and I had like 200 packs and I got one team of the year. But you're actually there for so long, you start discarding too many, and a lot of those crappy packs you don't get anything from anyway, really. So keep all the big ones, in my opinion. Especially even the 82 pluses. I think that's got 82 plus and above. I would hoard if I was anybody listening to this, because you want to give yourself that chance, don't you? And I know they'll pop out of
Exactly.
random packs, but if you give yourself the best opportunity, but even the one thing I would potentially say, and I don't know whether you'd agree, Shaq, but these SBCs that we've talked about, the Stam, the Vieira, and the R10 coming, even if you're desperate to complete them, I would still hold until the big pack rep and team of the year, because once the packs are repped, fodder is going to go so low because everyone's going to be trying to instantly sell things to do the next SBC or whatever. Plus, you usually get the odd good SBC that you don't realize through team of the year. So, like you say, last year we had the flashback Bruno Fernandes that was very, very good. And I'm not saying these ones are going to be super expensive. We don't really know who's coming in that, but there's a good chance. And we spoke on last week's show that this could be the first year without any of Messi, Ronaldo, and Neymar for a very long time in the actual team of the year, or even in the honourable mentions. If they don't get in any of these, don't be surprised to see a player like that as an SBC.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's a really good shot as well. I think if all things were fair, yeah, Mbappe could technically miss out on Team of the Year as well if all things were fair. So one of these guys could definitely get a flashback SBC, and if the flashback SBC is actually halfway decent to Team of the Years, how the Team of the Year cards normally would be, oh, that's going to be a crazy SBC. Imagine the scenes if you get like maybe a CR7 SBC that's flashback to Team of the Year that's still like a 94 or 95 rated card. Oh my goodness. I think that's going to break the internet as such, from at least from the foot community point of view. But that is, yeah, that's acutely possible. Like we could get something like along those lines. But the chances of something like that happening, that's a 4, 5, 6, 7 million coin SBC, is a bit. I don't know. I think the way things are going with the year, it's really hard to predict. But I would love something like that. That's a really good shot, though.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they'll be of that level, but I think a few years ago we had the 87 Ronaldo one where he was a right winger, I think, from sort of going back to his time at United. People slept on that card. You look at it and the face stats were a bit rubbish, but when you actually played with it, it was so much fun. And a lot of people kind of got behind it almost after the fact. So these are the sort of things I'm thinking, we always say with Evos, wait until the last minute with Evos to see what chains come so you could get the better players. In my head, I'm thinking, let's wait until you're right in the crux of team of the year. If you're somebody like us that likes to think about the leaks will obviously come as you go along. But I wouldn't be surprised if there's a couple, like at least one, if not two or three mega SBCs, and it could even be a 93 plus icon pick type thing, because they do like to do these icon picks in team of the year as well. So there's going to be lots to do. We know what EA are like, and they'll try and drive people to the store, either to get more fodder or to get a chance of these team of the year cards. And it'd be quite interesting to see if they've got a little store pack up their sleeve that most promos have a guaranteed one. I doubt we'll get a guaranteed team of the year promo pack. However, they may do something to entice you, say, 589 plus cards, which make you think you're going to get one of these Team of the Year cards, and
Yeah.
you're going to get 5 Allisons in the same pack somehow, or something like that. I'm being a bit facetious there, but I do think there's going to be a few weird and wonderful things coming along the way. So although these players are amazing, and if you need them for your team right now, by all means do it. But if it's one of these players like Ronaldinho, do you need a Ronaldinho, or is it you want him for nostalgia and for the fun factor? Yes, great. We'll hold off and see what else comes, because there could be a left winger that's maybe he's not identical, but it could do the same sort of things, but maybe have better play styles, better suited for you, whatever. So I think it's one of those sort of periods where wait and see is almost the way to go, unless you're opening packs, obviously.
Yeah, exactly. I think unlike you, I'm assuming you're opening your packs when all the cards are in, all the Team of the Years are in packs. Is that right?
Yeah, like I said, apart from the player picks that I've got, I'll open all my player picks when attackers are in, because obviously the attackers are probably the ones that will make the biggest impact to your team.
Yeah, that's fair enough. So I think from your perspective, if I was you, I would wait to do the SBCs right when I open all the packs. That's when I would start considering the SBCs. But I mean, like I said, I'm going to open everything at attackers. I'm going to empty all the stores at attackers and start grinding with all the cards that I pack from there on, and to try and do the repeatable SBCs. But I think it's much of a muchness. Whenever you're opening packs is probably when you should be considering SBCs. Yeah, you're absolutely spot on there with that. It's I think you're quite right. I think there might be other SBCs that come out. I think just throwing all your coins on, or all your cards on Ronaldinho straight away is not the best. Just keep an eye out and see what else is coming out. There could be some really interesting cards coming out, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And one to keep in mind is your SBC storage, because that'll pick up really quickly. So, the approach I've having is anything under 84 gets fired into some of these upgrade packs that we've got now, whether it's the 85 double, even the player picks. I'll happily fire an 81 rated player into player picks if I need to, just to kind of clear up that space. So I think I'm sitting on about 60 just now of 84s and above. And I'm
Oh
trying to clear
wow.
out yeah, I'm trying to clear out my transfer list a little bit as well. So I think on there I've got 87s to 90s that I'm not selling, and everything else is sellable, because I'm thinking, when you're opening some of these packs and some of them are tradable, you don't want to be bogged down and going, oh no, I can't do anything. And
That's right.
half of me thinks that maybe even wait until the Tuesday to open my packs, because that's when the upgrades are out. But I also know that I do not have that, that patience and discipline.
No, the end is it's impossible. And I think last year we had people that had like 1800, 1900 packs that just couldn't get through all their packs before the end of Team of the Year. They just kept repeating and recycling, and they just ran out of time, which is a shame, really.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the SBC storage is definitely something that's been good, so you can open more and store more. But you're right, Shaq. We should probably look to move on. We've kind of been running for 3/4 of an hour now. Quickly
Yep.
before we go, I just want to hit our regular segments. So first things first, formation in review. Have you used a new formation? Have you seen one? Is there anything you want to talk about?
One of the formations that I've just tinkered with, I just set it up, is our new foot coaching 4-3-3 second variant, and it's really interesting. And I was listening to a YouTube video today talking about how the 4-3-3 is a really good way to combat the 4-2-1-3. So I'm really keen to try it out. So I think I'll have a complete review next week once I've given it a good shot. That's made by our own captain, El Capitano John, a foot coaching. So I'm really curious to try it out. And his formations are very, very, very unique in a way that they really focus on ball retention, which is, I think, one key aspect to try and defeat the 4-2-1-3. So I'm really curious to actually learn it, because if I can retain the ball in against the 4-2-1-3, I think I'm just going to win that game. So I'm really looking forward to trying that formation out. What about yourself?
Yeah, to be honest, I don't really have anything to bring to the table in this segment, even though I've said about it. I've been using the same 4-2-3-1 wide for a number of weeks now. Like I say, I've tweaked it, so I've got Wester as a wide playmaker, which is different, but he's got the long ball pass plus, which is fun. And I've changed my striker from advanced forward to poacher just to give myself more of a threat. So nothing really to write home about. It's done me pretty well. I'm midway in Div 2 just now, and somehow managed to be quite comfortable. So I'm quite happy with that. But I am intrigued to see how John's formation turns out. Usually I use his as a base, and then I tweak it because I don't have the patience to. John's very, very good, like you say, at retaining the ball. Sometimes I am not, so I usually use his as a solid foundation. I think this 4-2-3-1 was one of the first ones he did in FC 25, but firstly, Dan adapted it, and then me and Dan are very similar, so I adapted Dan's adaptation. So quite intrigued to see how this works out. Shaq, before we go, the final segment is player in review. Have you got a player that you've used or that you've just got your eye on that you're desperate to try? Like, who are you looking at this week?
I actually tried out it's not a super expensive card. It was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, the Winter Wildcards Hero version, and I really enjoyed that card. His finesses are beautiful. There's something about his body type is not really nimble and skinny, but not really thick. It's just like the perfect body. It's almost like a Cantona-esque, if that makes any sense. In game, it seems like a Cantona-esque, and his finesses are tremendous. Left foot, right foot, and he's a unique card even in Rush. I really enjoyed using him in Rush because all I needed was people to pass it to me at the edge of the box and just kept scoring finesses over and over again in Rush. He was been and at 35k, it's a bargain. It's a complete bargain. He's got the Poacher Plus Plus as well, Nate. So that's something for you to look at if you haven't tried him. I've really enjoyed using Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. In fact, I'm just going to buy him after this recording again to try him back again.
Yeah, I'm tempted to get him and stick him in the club in case there's an evil that fits him further down the line as well. For mine, I've mentioned him earlier, but I've been using Gerd Muller. Got him from the icon pick. He's 275k just now, so not super low, but he's not super high either. His pace has got a very strange split. His acceleration is 92, but his sprint speed's 82. I whacked an engine on it and it makes it a lot more sort of palatable, but his shooting is where he comes into his own. So on the face of it, you look at a striker with 92 shooting, you go, it's okay, but it's not amazing. Attacking position is 96, finishing's 97, shot power 94, volleys 94. It's only brought down by his long shots and his penalties, but he's got that finesse plus. So a bit like Solskjaer, his finesses are just crazy. 4-star, 4 stars. Passing lets him down a little bit. His long pass is 66, which is crap. Shot passing 82, which means he's fine for the little layoffs. His dribbling's decent. His reaction's at 96, which I think is amazing. His composure's at 89, which is adequate. He's just all around a very nice card, which one I've never used in any iteration of FIFA. So I was umming and ahhing about him or Rashford. Rashford's power shot plus, I think, although power shot's still very good, if you're a striker and you're a single striker, you get closed down far too quickly to unleash the power shot, which I've kind of only just managed to figure out in my own head. I think finesse seems to be so OP in a one striker formation.
100%. I was just going to lead on to that. The fact that I don't know why many people are not. I think power shot aficionados like myself who love power shot from day one are starting to find that it's extremely hard to actually score power shots. Anyone who's scoring power shots consistently, as you were maybe a month and a half ago, all power to you, because I barely score power shots anymore because I get closed down immediately, and it's taking that few seconds extra to actually milliseconds to actually initiate that shot. So I'm not able to get those same power shots, and they're not as consistent as they used to be. I think one of the key things that were really working for us was the fact that first time power shots were really working extremely well before that are not working at all. I think the number of times that Rashford took the first time power shot and scored a goal was insane. Left foot, right foot, doesn't matter. And as you said, finesse is something that I've overlooked all cycle, and I'm starting to realize that yeah, finesse is where it's at. And I'm just worried about getting too comfortable with finesses with the new patching coming, but we'll see when we get there.
Yeah, I mean, I've always advocated for finesse on my wide men, especially the inside forwards, because it's lovely from that. But like you say, the nerf or the tuna, whatever you want to call it, is coming. Hopefully, they don't kill it like they've done with certain other aspects of the game, but that remains to be seen. Before we go, just a little plug for our wonderful Discord. It's free to join, or you can also, donate a cup of coffee to the team. It helps us improve the equipment. Time is as well. John puts a lot of time in editing this. Obviously, we put this together as well, so it helps keep this podcast going. That's patreon.com/FUT and review. Obviously, we offer FUT coach as well. We are powered by FUT coaching. So if you don't want to spend, real money on packs because, EAZA, have a look around, even have a chat with the guys. They can show what we offer using the state of the art equipment. Discord, we'll all be in there. You know, Shaq, you'll obviously be on the other side of the world to me. You'll be up all hours of my night and the other way around. So it's always good to have. There's a lot of friendly faces in there, and like you say, John's just released his new his new tactics. They come in there first before anyone else sees them. We've got the pack poll. You can speak to the host. You can speak to, there's quite a large community now, which is thriving. So it's really good to get. But following that, anything else from there? I just want to say good luck to everybody. We'll not be on until probably next Tuesday, where I think Team of the Year will have kicked off in some way, shape, or form. So if you are ripping packs, all the best to you. Please don't tag us in your pack polls, because I'm going to be horrifically jealous, because knowing our pack luck is not going to be there. But yeah, Shaq, have you got anything else to add before we sail away into the night sky?
No, it's just basically just best of luck to everyone opening packs and storing packs and considering SBCs and considering what to do or making some changes to the team. So let's just say at the end of Team of the Year, all we can hope for is for all of us to have some changes to our squads. And that's all we're playing the game for. So let's just hope that we get the additions we're looking for.
Yeah, might be quite fun to take a picture of before and after, like we did during was it Winter Wildcards we did? I think a few of us did it Thunderstruck we did before and after, and thought nothing would change, and actually quite a bit has changed. So no, like I say, best of luck to everybody. Thank you all for listening. One last thing to do, Shaq.
Drop it.
We are going to drop it.